is just the fact that there are so many amazing young people, younger than myself, and I'm officially an old person. Apparently, I'm now a Sasa. I'm of Sasa age. And the thing that really gets me excited is just how many people out there in our country, but particularly young people, are smart, they are honest, they are hardworking, and they're gorgeous. And you're one of them. And you know that's why you can arm twist me to do quite a lot of things. I often start off saying, no, 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 I don't have time, whatever. And invariably I do, because I know that you make time for others, including myself. And so, good morning again to everybody, and thank you for inviting me to share in this gathering of people. My name is Cheryl. I am about to turn 63
in a week's time.
In a week's time, yes. And I'm a little bit sad because I buried somebody very close to me just over a month ago. But on the whole, I say I am officially a happy person. And what makes me happy? I'm happy because I feel I can say without, at the risk of being presumptuous, I can say that I think I am quite fulfilled in my life. I feel I achieve the goals I set. I love the fact that I have the power to mainly write my own script in my life, but also that I have the power to be able to manage the things that are not within my control. And I do that because I'm confident about who I am. I'm confident about who I am not. And one of the great things about growing older is that you're quite comfortable with the fact that you know there are some things that you will just never be in your life. And that's okay. Because you also know there are some things that you are now, and there's some things that you will become if you continue to be somebody who sets yourself goals and who gets excited about challenges in life. And you can do that when you are confident, and you can do that when you are resilient. And how do you become that? How do you become confident and resilient? Well, the first thing I want to say, especially because you're a group of largely women, I don't know if Becky is male or female. So I assume there are some chaps in here, right? Anastasia? Are there some chaps here?
Yeah, no, there are some chaps in here. My own mentees are online as well. So okay. I have a mix of males and females. So Becky is definitely. Yeah.
I just want to know how rude I can be about men. Okay, I don't want to.
Maybe tone it down a little bit.
Some of my best friends are men. I even married one, you know.
I know. So cut them some slack.
No, but on a more serious note, what I wanted to say is that many of you are probably parents or aspirant parents in a biological or a non-biological sense. And I do want to say that one of the building blocks in my life was I had parents who loved me and who gave me my first pair of wings to fly. And I do think that parenting is a very serious responsibility. If you're going to willfully create other human beings who have no say, firstly, that they want to be in this vicious place called the world, and secondly, on your watch. I mean, you know, sometimes they could just sit, I'm sure all people who know your children sometimes look at you and you can just see they're like, out of all the people in the world, what kind of bad luck is this that I end up with you guys as my parents? But I do want to say that do take parenting very seriously, because I think that that's where a lot of the foundations of life gets laid. And as I said, not just biological parents, but every child just needs at least one adult in their life to look out for them. And if you find yourself playing that role, that's just the first thing about what makes me confident, successful, happy, and ambitious. The second thing I want to say about what makes me confident is I love myself. And back to your poem, Anastasia, that, building self-love, just recognizing that you're a human being, you are a worthy being, you're a capable being, you have got definite capabilities that you can and must contribute towards the world and towards building society. And you can do that only if you celebrate your achievements and because I think often good people are too focused on what are the challenges and what are the problems in my life and in the world. We don't take up the time to actually, when we say, right, this is a problem, and then to say, how do I tackle this problem or this challenge? And once I've done that, to actually celebrate it and say, hey, well done. It's actually a good thing to do. And then the third thing I want to say is that what's made me a successful social being, and by that I mean I'm not an ex-murderer. I sometimes come close to wanting to murder some people because there are some terrible people out there. But I've actually up to now restrained myself. So I'm not the local ex-murderer.
I will come and bail you out, don't worry. Or I might be in jail with you.
Can I get that in writing, Ms. Mashabane?
No, it's not a commitment yet.
But I believe that I play my part in society. I step up to the plate on big things and small when I'm required, and that makes me successful. Because it's not just about what I achieve, it's actually what's the impact that I make. And I also think that what makes me a successful human being is that I'm able to navigate relationships, and particularly to build the relationships which strengthen me. The relationship which strengthen me personally, that build my resilience, and the relationships that help me to fulfill my dreams and my ambitions. And that brings me to the most important thing that brings me here this morning. It's to actually share with you the fact that I am a product of lifelong mentorship. And people often, and of that mentorship, the vast majority, not exclusively, but the vast majority of the people who, and I use the phrase, who carry me and who have carried me and who've held me like that in their hands, are women. Now, there's this terrible thing which I really detest, that it sadly comes from women too sometimes, and they say, there's this thing called the PhD, the pull her down syndrome. And it's complete nonsense, because I am the beneficiary today still of the most incredible, powerful women, go-getters, who still continue to mentor me and to open pathways for me. And of course, there are some dreadful women out there. You know what? I mean, there are some dreadful, awful women out there, but I can assure you that of the people who have consistently tried to hold me back or make me believe that I was not capable of achieving a goal I'd set for myself, a very large proportion of that were men. And so the dreadful women out there are hugely outnumbered by the good women and men in my life who have actually carried me and held me. And so I am the beneficiary of lifetime of mentorship. And to this day, I have the most extraordinary, the most powerful women and men who mentor me and who make me succeed. And that has brought me to where we are in our journey together as two women, paving a way for ourselves and for others. I resolved a long time ago that I will lift as I rise. Of course, it is the right thing to do, but it's also a very smart thing to do for a woman making a way in the world, for a woman breaking boundaries and pushing new frontiers all the time, because that's what I am. That's what excites me. Because it can be very lonely out there when you succeed and when you're a pioneer. So it's very smart to create safety in numbers. And that is a very smart lesson I learned a very long time ago. But doing the right thing is always the best thing for business, be that your personal business or be that your corporate business. And so widening the pool of successful, strong, resilient, go-getter women just makes it easier for me to pursue my dreams and to be a go-getter, because if I'm the only one, it's a very lonely place. Now, sustainable success is built on solid foundations. And in professional business life, solid foundations are about value creation for all your stakeholders. And in business, value creation is about, obviously, sustainable profitability. And the best way to do that, of course, is if all your stakeholders understand and are committed to a game plan that is accepted by all as the desired and possible outcome, and understand and accept their role in achieving that outcome. Successful teams of stakeholders are made up of resilient individuals. And successful individuals are people who are comfortable in their skins and who understand the importance of ongoing help and support. That two sides to the coin. And successful individuals also understand the power of giving. And our gathering this morning is a living testimony to this. So thank you, Anastasia, and to all you good peeps out there at Machobane for bringing us together to share and to plan. Anastasia's been in my life for just over a decade, 12 years to be precise, she's just told me. And it's been a joy and an honor to watch her grow and to see her lift as she rises. She's become a part of our family in my personal life, but also at my spaza shop called Pearl Tuna.
At the Petunias.
Yeah, our hubbies call us the Petunias. That company and that outfit, where we take great pride in being part of a group of successful new leaders who have, and at Peotona we have embraced a cohort of young people, women and men, but we share the women amongst us, particularly in our mentorship circle that Anastasia has become part of. And we do that, as Anastasia knows. We haven't asked 1 cent to anybody for our mentorship program at Peotona. And because Peotona was built and continues to grow, even as we still grieve the loss for one of us in January, Sis Dolly Mogatle, who passed away in January, and may her soul rest in peace. Some of you on here were some of her mentees, and some of you just got to know her by being part of the Peotona family. When we launched Peotona some 16 years ago, there were views that we would not and that we could not possibly succeed, including, I may add, we say with a lot of mirth in our tongues in cheek, some of our husbands, they said this was not going to work. This was going to end in tears. Well, there's a view out there that says 4 so-called highly successful, high-achieving women couldn't possibly work together. Now, here we are 16 years later and still going strong. And sadly, minus one of us, but still going strong. Her spirit lives, Sis Dolly's spirit lives with us. And we are the living embodiment of lifting as you rise and how that makes you stronger. Every one of the women we collectively mentor becomes a sister, a younger sister, who co-creates a better world, a world where we draw on 100% of our human capital. We don't, by including women, we include more than half the population in our country and in the world. And hopefully we bring skill sets that are so necessary and that's often missing when we look at the trouble the world is in today. And every woman who becomes part of our circle becomes a role model, like Anastasia, of lifting as you rise, and of why it is important and possible to chase your dreams, because you are creating ever-widening circles of ambition and of success. What we look for when we mentor women, and I should just say for the record again, that we also mentor men, but the people we bring together in our mentorship circle as per Tona, as a women-owned, women-managed, women-run company, is we look for rainmakers who will create new pathways, not only for themselves, but even for us, that we too can learn from them and draw inspiration from them. We look for women who are committed to excellence, excellence in themselves, and excellence in a society where they will not settle for second best. We're excellent, we look for women who see excellence in a society as normal and help to create a society where we celebrate excellence. We look for women who confidently stand shoulder to shoulder with women and men to co-create a better world. And that's why I'm here to salute Anastasia and women like Mala, who in the background, part of this new pathways at Mashabane and Associates, and all of you who are here today, and to talk about how we have achieved at Peotona individually and as a company, and what we have thus far and how we can fully utilize opportunities created for us by those who went before us, and how we create pathways for those who come behind us, who come after us, and how we make them part of that journey of our success. So I'm not going to speak much more than that, Anastasia, for the moment. I thought those are just my opening comments, because I want to hear what your journeys have been, what your successes have been, what your joys have been. What are the things that excite you? What are the things that scares the living daylights out of you? And what are the kind of big, scary things that you think we should tackle together as women, shoulder to shoulder with our men folk? So, Advocate Mashabane and everybody in the house there.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I mean, you've really touched on everything that I know you embody, especially, with the late Mam Dolly, may her soul rest in peace, Mam Wendy, and Mam Tandi. I basically looked at the model that, I was exposed to, and that is what I'm replicating. And as you say, I do not also charge anyone for my time in the mentorship. For me, it's about finding that timber and growing it and sending the timber out into the world, to go and change the world. And that has been the experience thus far with amazing women and men, that I've come across. And, just by spending time, by giving them, the ear and showing them that they are somebody, it doesn't matter what stage of life they're in. For me, really, that has been the satisfaction of walking this journey. And I would not, have known how to actually do this if I had not seen how Peotona had modeled that, within us, to encourage us to step out of our comfort zones. I mean, you have been there for me, even when I experienced that Pulga Down syndrome, you never judged. I was able to cry openly, and rebuild myself and sort of take it one day at a time, realizing that not everybody will be there for you the way you expect them to be. But then it's about how I look at myself and how I decide to look to allow people to make me feel, and sort of just let that light shine. It doesn't matter who it blinds in the process. If it's too bright for other people, they can wear sunglasses, so, and for me, I mean, the things that really scare me, you know, every day just wondering, am I doing enough? Am I doing the right thing? But then I realized that being human, we will make mistakes, but it's how you deal with those mistakes, you know, that really matters. Um, Obviously, running a business, running 3 businesses and having people that rely on you, that also scares me that, am I putting them on the right journey? You know, but so far, you know, as long as the team understands the vision, it becomes easier to propel forward, you know, but then also taking everybody along with me. You know, coming from the background that I have, I make sure that I always make sure that my family is okay. And I mean, you always lecture me about being nice to my husband, especially when he tries to give me business advice. But I know I'm stubborn, but I am taking his advice now, Cheryl, and he's very chuffed about that. You know, so it's a lot of things. It's being a mother. It's being a mother to boys and being an aunt to beautiful nieces and nephews, and trying to live, you know, the life that I want them to have. And they need to surpass that, you know. So it all starts, you know, from the family. It starts, you know, by having nurturing relationships. I'm also not a person that opens up to a lot of people. So I still keep my circle very close, but I don't close myself off to people insofar as they need their assistance. I mean, in the business world, I've had these discussions with you when I was discussing the business plan and you were giving me ideas. The most difficult thing that I think we face as entrepreneurs is, you know, that access to that funding. And if you don't have funding to take you up to a certain month, what do you do? Do you just pack up and then go back to work for somebody? Or do you just push through, knowing that it impacts other people around you negatively? You know, that is just the reality of life, that when you want to do something, the support system might not be there. So when I have someone like you in my life and my other mentors that, you know, mentor me in different areas, like Dr. Clyde, who's assisting me on the educational side, Mr. Mapete, who's assisting me on the legal side, you know, then at least I can talk to somebody who's been there. And they're like, you worried about being broke? It's gonna happen as long as you're an entrepreneur. Otherwise, take the safe route and just go work and wait for a paycheck. So that has really been my biggest issue. But you've also taught me how to look for help. You know, I won't go into the detail, but you know what you've done for me. And from that, I do seek help. I'm actually now seeing a Reiki, what is this, therapist. I promise you, it's a beautiful journey. I'm learning so much about myself. You never thought I'd do that, right? So yeah, so I'm learning, I promise you. So I ask for help and I get help. You know, I don't want to walk this journey alone, but then I pull others into that space. And also what's important for me now is self-care. I mean, you know about my health scare last year. And I realized then that I need to change. I can never be that same person again. And I'm not that same person. Something, I think nearly dying does something to you. So I'm never going back to being that person because I realized I've been given a second chance and I'm grabbing it. It's scary. I get scared. I call you sometimes and I cry like I did the last time. And you're like, Anastasia, what's happening? And the whole session was just tears. But I allow myself now to just feel those emotions. And with the therapy sessions that I'm doing with my psychiatrist, you know, because it's not a shame, you know, to have mental health issues as well. It is not a shame. And you've taught me that. It is not a shame, you know. And I thank you for that. And I can talk. And from talking, I become stronger, you know. So yeah, it's all those lessons. But I don't want to hog the spotlight. One of my fellow mentees, Joy Marie Lawrence, is asking a question here. She's saying, Cheryl, thank you so much for all you do in supporting others to rise. What self-care tips do you do to nurture yourself? That's from Joy Marie.
Okay. Hello, Joy Marie. I hope you're good.
Lovely to see you.
Joy Marie, you know, it's about two things, I would say. The one is to take care of your health. You know, if you want to be a high achiever, it comes at a price. There's stress, as Anastasia says, sometimes you just completely broke if you're an entrepreneur. If you're in professional job, in a professional career, there are tough moments, there are tough crossroads and so on that you have to choose. Am I going this way? Am I going that way? Am I putting my foot down? Am I standing up? You know the story, Joy Marie. You've done a few of those and come out swimmingly at the other side, you and Tandy. But it is really simple things. It's corny as it sounds, and it's the obvious stuff, but it's about eating properly, and it doesn't mean eating posh. Now, I've seen great results of people who do banting, for example, but I'm never going to be a banting person, Anybody who says to me, I can't eat bread, rice, or potatoes, you know what? I mean, I am prepared to accept that's what they see as plan A, but doesn't work for me. So what's plan B? So I do actually watch what I eat. I exercise. And I'm not, some people think I'm a fitness fanatic. I'm not. I actually just think for my head, I run. And I think it's for my head because when you fit, you're actually a lot more alert. You can actually cope with pressure a lot better. And that's a scientifically proven fact. Now, again, I want to emphasize the fact that it does not mean that you have to be super fit. I am not super fit. I have to keep on saying that. But I think it is important to keep a basic level of fitness, to keep your heart rate healthy. Watch your weight. Now, some people also think that I spend a lot of my time, Anastasia knows, I eat a lot of chocolate, I do a lot of whatever. And it's not because I run a lot. No, it's because I discovered the secret is something which unfortunately is usually too late in life for you to. It's to choose your parents well. But by the time you realize, it's mine is very genetic. Both my parents just happen to be quite small people and quite muscular people. So, you know what, but I mean, I love the fact that I have a bum. And I must say, there's nothing on my entire body. Seriously. And that I think comes with being 63. You can actually, I spend very little time looking at myself in the mirror. And I really can't mention anything if I have to really think hard about my body that I don't like. Or this, I'm not even, can't even say, I like this, I like that. I actually am not unhappy about my body, Sometimes I think, maybe if I had longer legs, I could, And then I think, what you're going to do with them, Anyway, so I do think, Joy Marie, that actually looking after your health is a very important thing. And part of that is looking after your weight, but that also means you do not want to get scrawny. You don't want to become obsessive about weight. As women particularly, it's actually nice to have a few curves. Just ask the peeps in our life, right? They actually like a few curves on us. So I just want to say to you that that's the first thing. And then the other thing is just that love yourself, just invest in what makes you happy and what makes you excellent. And that means that crazy thing that people talk about, work-life balance, and of course is now the latest debate is this is not possible. I think it is possible. I really do. And that means that sometimes you just say no to work. You just actually have to learn to do that. You have to learn to switch your phone to a point where only your favorites can actually, the phone will only ring for your favorites. Put your phone over there. You can't, why do you need to spend your whole life looking at your phone? Do you feel so insecure that if you don't feel affirmed, if people aren't trying to contact you and connect with you and be friends with you? So I think, Joy Marie, that making yourself okay here in your soul is the first and the most critical building block in personal success. Because I watch so many people who are hugely successful and they hate themselves. And I said to a woman, very dear sister of mine once, if I was your God, I would be so cross with you because I've given you a beautiful life. You're a gorgeous person. You have a fabulous family. You have achieved so much in your life. And all you do is to compare yourself with other people. And why? You fall short of what these other successful people are. And so for me, I would say that, yes. And then last thing I would say is just be ambitious. Now, often people say, they think ambition is a bad thing. No, I'm ambitious as hell. I've always got a scheme that I am chasing. Because you know what? I'm curious. So I always want to find out what's behind that mountain over there. I also get hugely excited by success. I love success. And there's nothing like achieving something and going, yay. And then, but you know what I do then? I say, yay. You know what? You rock. Cheryl, you pulled that scary thing off. Yay for you. And it's important to do that. And women especially don't do that enough. Then you can tackle anything. But you also know that ambition is not enough. You've got to be committed to work hard and to do what it takes to acquire the skills and the experience and the networks to do what you want to do. Now, apparently, I will never be an opera singer. I'm not going to give up on it, but I've accepted maybe it's not going to be the most important thing in my life. Eh? But I'm happy just singing in the shower, in my house, and in the car. Anyway, so Joy Maria, I just want to say that just investing in yourself is so important. And you're on mute. Let me stop there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I just want to look at the chat. One of my longest friends, we will be friends for 30 years in 2 years from now. She and I met at Tux. We were the two outliers. She was a wild African girl with hair, big red hair and Dr. Martens. And I was the only black girl there. So we just gravitated towards each other and we stuck. And she's actually raised her hand now to become one of my mentors on the program. Thank you, Nella. You know, it's awesome. So, and Charmaine Mayer from the Leadership magazine says, thank you for reminding us to be teachable, Cheryl and Anastasia. Then we have Lindu Caesar, who's one of our trainers on the diversity and inclusion segment of our training. She says, Cheryl, thank you for communitarism. I don't even know what that means, but anyway, I need my glasses, my age is showing now. Thank you, Cheryl. Leadership over the years. We appreciate your continuous encouragement for women to shine. The imposter syndrome is what I was going to actually ask you to talk about, is a reality. How do we deal with the imposter syndrome?
I would like to hear Lindy herself on that, why she thinks there is this syndrome. Lindy?
Media Fella, can you unmute Lindy, please?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for sharing this morning. Yeah, the imposter syndrome is a reality for many. And I say this as a leadership coach. A lot of women that I coach sometimes sit with that fact or maybe that reality that says, I'm not good enough. And therefore doubt overcomes whatever it is that they try to achieve. And self-doubt being a dominating factor in that somehow impacts how they move forward in some of their dreams that they're trying to achieve. Believe that they could never achieve some of the things that they're stepping into, and the fear of success overcomes them as well. Something that impacts most of us, whether it's in a corporate space, even in our own families sometimes, when you know you should be raising your voice in that patriarchal platform, yet you step back because you think, oh, just because I'm a woman, this is something that I should not speak about. In the workplace, is sitting with the thought that says, I'm new in this space, I don't have a voice, and therefore I will not speak up. Or I'm a female. There's been men dominating this industry. I have no right to say anything. And therefore, what I know and what I've learned is not that important. And therefore, the imposter syndrome. That's where my comment came from, Cheryl. Thank you, Anastasia.
Thank you, Lindiwe. No, absolutely. I mean, maybe I once had a really shocking experience of that from a peer, a sister. We're sitting and having this really lovely, crazy catch-up of what my husband used to call my feminazi girl gang, a formidable crowd of women who hold me, who love me, who pull me into line and so on. And somewhere along the line, two things that actually came out in that session, and I don't know why that particular session took off like that. One was how many women, for the first time, even though many of us were friends for a very long time, for the first time actually said in a group that they'd been sexually violated. The second thing was a powerful sister. And it just hit me between the eyes. I can't even remember how we got to that point. And it's this imposter thing, what you call imposter syndrome. She says, oh, one way she copes with something with the other was when she stops in a garage at night, she sits in a car for about 5 minutes. She breathes out, and I went, okay, I think I do that too. And then I leave the baggage there. You know? And she says, then she leaves her brain behind before she steps into that interleading door that leads into her kitchen and her home. And that was so scary because her partner, the man she loves and the man who she believes loves her, she doesn't want him to feel intimidated by her power and her achievements. And that was so sad and so scary. And the first thing I want to say is just do not be with yourself in a way that puts yourself down. And that's why it's so important for me that you celebrate. You know, every year with my birthday, and I'll do it again this year, I'm going to be in the Kruger somewhere with some feminazis and some men as well, some nice men as well, but with my real impinches. And we're going to celebrate my life. And my script is I sit down, I don't do this New Year's Day. I think it's a very bad idea because usually I'm recovering from the party the night before on New Year's Day. So it's not the day to make New Year's resolutions. So I do it on my New Year, my personal New Year. I sit on my birthday first thing in the morning and I do my personal balance sheet. I look at my assets and I look at my liabilities. And then I look at what are toxic assets. And those are things that you must just let go. There is, for whatever reasons, you can't change that. Your liabilities, toxic liabilities. And you just say, I can't change this. And you know what? You don't allow that to remain part of your life. You walk away from it. And that includes people. Because there are horrible people out there. People who just don't know how to be good about themselves and how to let others be good in and of themselves. And I sit with my phone every year and I delete people from my phone. And I love it when my phone says, are you sure you want to delete? And I go, yes. And I hit that button, delete. And my phone rings. I don't answer my phone if I don't see a name coming up. That means this is somebody who phones that I haven't chosen to be part of my private space in my life. So I don't answer the phone. I have an office that runs very well. I sing Bali's on the thing here, Bali and Desiree van Wyk. And they will make sure if anybody tries to reach us, they will make sure they will bully us to do what it takes to be available. But so I get rid of those toxic assets once a year in my life. And then I look at, liabilities. Then I look at the other liabilities. And you know what? Sometimes, whether it is people or whether it is things in your life, that's really hard to do at that point. can be overcome. All of us have friends who are just horrible at some point in their life, or people at work. And then I decide, no, but I'm not ready to delete this person. This person is a part of my life. Then I decide, how am I going to approach that person and actually make them think twice? And that includes my partner, my family, the people I love very closely. But I wanted to say that you actually, Lindy, you know, I do think it's important, the importance of letting go. And never to give people permission, because anybody, I really don't hate anybody. And I'm serious about this. You know, if I have to think, who do I hate? I don't hate anybody, because you know what? Those people who hate are people who deserve my scorn. People that one would ordinarily hate are people who deserve your scorn. And I will not give people like that the power to determine my happiness. If it's somebody in my life who is being horrible to me that I actually love, then I must work on that relationship, and I must have the courage to point out to that person, because the reason why that person is so important in my life, that they can affect me like that, is because they deserve that place in my life, that special place in my life. They've earned it over the years, but now they're being negative in my life. So I must actually find a way to overcome that. If it's my job that I feel I'm not worthy of, I mean, why? You know? And I think that's another journey. And I think between yourself and Anastasia, you both pointed out to the fact, maybe you need a coach. And I want to point out there's a big difference between a coach and a mentor. I'm not going to go into the detail about that now, but it's very different. And a coach is a very professional person, or sometimes you do need to go and see a psychologist. You must ask yourself, what is it that brings this fear and the sense of inadequacy in me? Is it something that I can tackle by myself? And is it, so that is why speaking to a coach, speaking to a mentor, and I assume all of you are women who have taken charge of your destinies. That's why you're part of a conversation like this. You're not people who just like their life can just knock you and pump you. And so you're women who are in charge of your destiny. It doesn't mean you control everything in your destiny, and you never will. But you need to make sure you're resilient and that you have the skills. And that's the other thing, even formal education. You know, if you want to be a lawyer, and then you must decide you're going to be a good lawyer. Ask Anastasia this. So what did she do? She decided she likes aviation. I met her, she was my chief of staff. She ran my office at South African Airways, very competent. And that's the one thing I learned in my life. You surround yourself with people who are a lot smarter than you are, and smart women is a very good start. And so Anastasia Mashavane was my smart person in my life at SAA. But she decided she's going to study aviation law so that she can be a better manager and a better boss to the chair of South African Airways. And she knew that if she wanted to, she wasn't my peer, she was actually the chief of staff running my office in my life. And so you need to make sure that you always have the skills that is required, because basic qualifications for a job or for a deal that you want has to be one of the basic tenets. It doesn't have to always be pieces of paper. So it does mean, anyway, let me stop there, but I hope you get the drift of Lindy, my response to that you really just stop it right there. If you're going to feel like an imposter, an unworthy person, work on that. Work on why you feel that. If you know that the reason why someone trusted you with a position as the life partner or as a business partner or in a job, it's for a good reason. Why would you want to doubt that? Let me, and I'm sure the other people have something to say. I think I see this in the chat as well. So I'm going to let you chat talk.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be reading the questions because there's some very interesting one. So my dear Cheryl, will you give us an extra 5 minutes until 25 to? I know you can never say no.
You know I can't.
Thanks. Chocolates on their way to you. I'll deliver them myself. Thanks. I just want to read a few comments. We have Dr. Pulani Molokwani, who's a nuclear doctor. You can unmute yourself, nuclear physicist, one of the smartest people that I also surround myself with. And she has a comment. Doctor, will you just unmute?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Dr. Malakwa.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Cheryl, and thank you for spending time with us so early. I have two comments, but I'll start with the one where I'm saying thank you for the reminder of self-care, because sometimes we just, I for one, I know that I am forever running around trying to make sure that everybody else is happy and set up and forgetting about myself. I like you take my sanity from waking out and running. In fact, because I couldn't wake up this morning, I'll go to gym when we finish this one, because it clears my mind. I tell people I need to get tired from running for me to get the energy to go through my day. The other comment is on deleting people. I'm this person that maybe I'm too sensitive. But once you mess with me, I delete you. I don't even, sometimes I don't even give room for one to say, I'm sorry, can we talk? I literally cut. And some people have always said, say to me, you were a bit harsh, you quick. And it's not like I'm emotional, because at times I would go back and replay the movie of what happened and try to separate myself from the incident and say, could I have handled that differently? And most of the time I'm like, I'm right. If you're messing up with my peace, you don't have space in my life. So I was just saying, I block them, I don't delete them, so that they will never be able to call me ever again. They'll have to find a new number to contact me.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Willie.
Can I read the next comment, Cheryl or Suvi? If you are able to unmute, can you just please read your comment?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can't see you, Sue.
Let me put my video on as well. Good morning.
Hello.
And greetings from Finland.
Oh.
I'm a colleague of Anastasia. We work together in data protection and privacy related matters. So thank you very much for the inspiring session and inspiring speech you gave. I absolutely think it's really great what you pointed out, that it's all important. It all starts, and it's also important that it starts with caring yourself, loving yourself, and giving out to society. So thank you for the valuable mentoring work you do. Also from the point of view of connecting with people and giving back what you have gained from the society. So just wanted to thank you for the session. And I tend to agree with you, but I think it's very important that, and it gives us saying that we keep a little bit of exercising and doing some fitness, and especially time like this, I think keeping connected with people is so important.
Yes, especially during COVID. I mean,
exactly, especially in conditions where we don't necessarily see people physically face to face so much.
Yeah.
Cheryl, Suvi and I have managed to build this friendship where we share recipes, we show each other's houses and children. Suvi bakes amazing cakes, and then she'll show me the picture, and I'll just like, Now she says she's looking for a house in Finland. And it's the strangest thing. Like I feel like I've known her forever, and when we're busy working on data protection and privacy issues, we giggle more than we actually work. And she's just as strange as I am. So I'm like, I found somebody across the continent. Sorry, Ronel, you don't have competition, but I found another crazy person in my life. So yeah, so it's good to be different, Suvi. And I love the work that we're doing and how we approach, life. It's very similar, actually. It's strange, because we live
exactly.
in continents. And Cheryl, when she shows me pictures of what she does, I'm like, hey, I can relate to that. So it's also about just reaching out and being confident enough, because I reached out to Suvi and, it was just an instant connection. And right now we are like, we speak every day. We like, I don't know, we're like, continental besties. And the team always like says, but the two of you think alike. So when we decide on a concept, she'll be like, yes, I'll be like, yes, let's do this. So thank you so much, Suvi, because you're also teaching me quite a lot. that I would not have been exposed to if you had not also opened the door. So you're also one of those women that are lifting, as you rise. And with your experience and time, you don't really have to spend time with me, but you do that, and I appreciate that about you.
It goes both ways. It
Thank
goes
you.
both ways.
There's
Thank
so
you.
many comments. Let me move on to the next one. Charmaine, can you please unmute yourself and then just read your comment to Cheryl? Because this is an interactive session. I'm going to try and go through all of the comments, and let's just maybe try and keep it brief so we can get more people in things.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Cheryl, Anastasia, thank you for a thought-provoking session. I simply love what you do. I believe in giving back and sharing. We have experiences in life whereby others can learn from that. And it's all about the giving and the taking. But I never thought of deleting people, because I always keep telephone numbers and so forth. So it's thought-provoking in the sense that I am a firm believer of the power of association. Who you associate with, because it takes you to the next level, and that would be in basically all spheres of or areas of your life. For example, health. We're talking about running, and just looking after your health and your fitness. So there's a power. So my belief is that there should be a power of association in all the areas, whether it's health, whether it's finance, whether it's work, it's your career, because that builds you and it keeps you going. And we really need one another. I simply love this particular talk, because we pull from each other, we learn from each other, and we are being strengthened by each other. So I don't know what you're feeling on the power of association, but for me, that is very, very important. If people can't impact my life in a positive way, I prefer not to be associated with them unless it's my time to add value in their life. Do I make sense?
Absolutely, Charmaine. Sorry, I was just on mute. Absolutely. Just on that, I surround myself with people who make me happy.
Absolutely.
And that's why I delete people. It takes, I don't mean this lightly, but by the time I do that, and I think Puli said the same thing about the blocking, whether it's blocking or deleting, whatever we do. But it's like, you're also out of my life. And I think it is important to drop baggage. It's one of the important things I learned in my life. It's in another funny way in which I put it sometimes. I say, one of the most powerful things for me was to learn how to take my chewing gum off the bedpost and to say, bye-bye, ducky, I'm out of here. Whether it is people, bad relationships, men, friends, or jobs. You must be able to know if you leave your chewing gum on the bedpost, and it means you're still leaving something there. Even if it's not a piece of yourself, you're still leaving stuff there. Just learn to let things go. And again, you can do that successfully once you own what you have instead of what you have not. And I do not have any friends who sit down. I never am in a conversation where people are nasty about other people. Sometimes we'll joke and be rude and say, "Ooh, that sister," but it will never be, "Oh, she said this, she said that," or like he's such a whatever, other than saying he's such a dweeble, it's just a comment. Like he's just a rubbish, or he's just such a coward or something. But we'll never sit with people who, I don't have anybody in my universe who sit ever in a conversation where we actually are nasty to people, about people. As I say, so yes, the power of association as far as people are concerned, and the power of association as far as where you locate yourself in the world, because I think we all know that we impact our families, the people who love us. How we behave towards them can make a huge difference. A very powerful example for me is that in the petunias in Peltona, there are kids who have grown up in front of us who are now, I mean, in the time we've known one another, we saw them when they were born, some of them, and they are now married, and they now have started their own families, and they've got babies, so the Peltona children. And what's amazing, especially with the boys, is that they have actually, by and large, married women just like their mothers. Strong, confident women. And it says something about the fact that these strong, confident women, friends of mine, are women who have, and they were busy building their professions a lot of the time, sometimes had guilt about they're not at home often enough, whatever, and making those choices. But they've always been there and made time for the important things, even to this day, in the grown-up children's lives, as they themselves are married, and as they are now, we are all grandparents to these children. And it says something about it, because those powerful sisters of mine, Dolly, Wendy, Thandi, have managed to build functional families. And I do think there is a litmus test about whether you've built the next monster, the next patriarchal monster, who's going to be a problem in a relationship with a woman, who feels threatened by a woman. And they somehow manage in their homes to create confident young men and women. So the power of association in terms of location or place in society, whether it's your family, whether it's in your church, how you conduct yourself there, whether it's in your workspace, whether it's in your sports club, whether it's a bunch of circle of friends. So we've only got so many hours in a day, and go-getters like yourselves, you have to choose, what do I give my time to? So where do I associate? Do I give my time? And Anastasia and all the other mentees of ours, they know that, there are three things that I insist on when I mentor someone. The one is that you look after yourself, and I want to see evidence of that. Anastasia knows, I ask, have you done one of the things I talk with when I see her, and I haven't seen her for a long time? Have you had your pap smear? Have you had your mammogram? And those are them. And then, are you still running? Ooh, or otherwise, as now, recently when I saw, I said, ooh, looking good. I mean, I can see she is working out, taking care of it. The second thing is, are you taking care of your mother? If you're also taking care of your father, that's lovely. But you know what? Most of us, I'm lucky, I'm not in that group, but most South Africans are actually brought up with absent fathers. So somewhere in their lives, the person who's made things happen for them are their mothers. It's a shocking reality in South Africa. And so, and even fathers who are married to the mothers and in the house, very wealthy, but they're not present in the lives of their children. So I want to know that you're taking care of your mother and that you're doing right by your mother. And the last thing is that you are plowing back by mentoring at least one other person, and that you are serving in some not-for-profit capacity. Not to your works CSI program that's on your balance scorecard, no. Whether it is your church soup kitchen, whether it is the Red Cross, whether it's the gift of the givers, whether it is sandparks as the honorary ranger, but you are actually doing stuff where you're spending money of your own and you're taking the skills that you have to support an NGO who are helping make this country a better place or the world a better place. Otherwise, why should I give you my time? If you had to pay for my time, you can't afford me. Very simple. So I'm making time for you on condition that you fulfill those three criteria: yourself, your mother, and giving back. Without payment or recognition or getting your balanced scorecard sorted out at work. You're just giving. And I think that's a very important thing that we have to inculcate in those we mentor, is that notion, not that notion, that commitment of consciously giving back. Because successful people like us, and we are successful, the very fact that we're sitting on a webinar at 7:30 in the morning says we've arrived at a certain place. So that power of association, it's about who you hang out with, and it is about getting people who make you happy and people you can learn from, and that you don't feel defensive about. And then the association of what causes or what place, where you place yourself, where you associate in the world. Let me stop there, Charmaine. I hope that's helpful. But you've triggered me.
Thank you so much, Charmaine, for that question. I'm noticing that we are treading on very thin ground here with my media team. But before I let Charmaine go, I want to move to a different topic about what you send out into the universe. And I do serve on an NPO board, Cheryl. I promise you.
No, I know.
Yes.
You're compliant with my requirements.
And I'm taking care of my mother. Yes. And I've lost 40 kilos because you're watching me like a hawk. But you will not say. So now I want us to talk about this, where I was your +1. And I was at the lowest point in my life. That is when I was having that pull her down syndrome being, practiced on me. And Cheryl said, you need to get out. We're going to this function. And there was like so many people. I remember walking like, oh, Cheryl, because I never thought I'd actually be in a room with Gloria Sorobe and all these people. And then Cheryl said, go take a picture. I'm like, but what's the point? Because it's not going to be seen by anyone, right? So I went, and leadership gave us like a freebie. And now I'm proud to say that I'm in this month's leadership magazine. And I do talk about you, and all the, journeys that we've walked together. And I just want to thank you for planting that seed. I was really at my lowest. I mean, I look at the picture, my skin was bad. I mean, you know what I was going through. And just the chance that we, the fact that you actually wanted to spend the time with me in my misery, has led to this. And I thank you. I really thank you, for planting that seed, and for Charmaine, for hearing God's voice when she was reading one of my articles on LinkedIn that said to her, call her. And she thought maybe she's hearing things, and the voice said, call her. And since then, I mean, it's just been a beautiful journey. I mean, as a company, we've even decided to be part of the leadership. Charmaine, what is it? The Skills Development Summit that's taking place in June, where we have a segment where we will be talking, just about the journey of paying it forward and how to transfer skills. So I'm trying to tell everybody in this webinar that if you don't shine your light in somebody else's life, you may be leaving behind, a person that could actually go out and change the world. Well, I love unicorns and I love to dance, and I'm just me. I love sci-fi and whatever else. But Cheryl never judged me. She accepts me as I am. And like she says, I mean, she lectures me about everything, my health, my husband, and I feel like he actually gets much better treatment from Cheryl than me. But I won't say anything. But I'm married to a very good guy, and she's really helped me to appreciate where I am in all aspects of my life. So Leadership Magazine, May 2021, I'll be bringing this with the chocolates and everything else to your house. So we're going to spend all day together. So thank you so much. Get yourself a copy. And thank you, Charmaine, for listening to the voice of God. I think, Cheryl, we can cut off at 8:45, but I just want to acknowledge Siyabonga Ruby. It's actually Tabitha Ruby, one of my mentees. She had a comment, but I see you've actually answered it. We have Munene Mukhashwa, who's thanking us, for the self-care motivation. Joy Marie, who refers to the aviation analogy. Put the mask on yourself first, then help others. I love that. Fundi Ndaba, who thanks us for the conversation. Tabila Dube, who's an old friend of mine. She had to dash because she's for a meeting, but I mean, she's stuck in there. Oh, Ronelle now wants to meet my other friend, Suvi. I think she's feeling a bit challenged. Ronelle, stop it. Dr. Sevotladi, who's my educational mentor, she was actually my senior at TAX. She says, thanks, Anastasia and team, for the breakfast talks. Cheryl, thanks for reminding us that knowledge of self is key. We have Fundi Ndaba, she's just saying that you're a great bunch. And then, Joy Marie, stop it. Lindy Caesar, learning is a lifetime individual commitment, therefore taking up mentorship coaching. Counseling is important for self-development and advancement. And Charmaine says, it was a joy working with you, Anastasia. Thank you for the opportunity. Alice Brown says, thank you very much for the inspiring morning. Let me read Joy Marie's comment. She says, becoming an entrepreneur after many years in corporate has been the most exhilarating and challenging experience in my life. Curiosity, passion, and making a difference keeps me focused. Thank you, my fellow Petunia mentee. Takani, Ostakani, I can never call it Takani. Ostakani says, thank you for your time. A beautiful way to start one's day. Sure, I cannot stop. Charmaine at Imfundo Consulting was really one of our attendees. She says, thank you, ladies, for the learning and growth this morning. So most of it is just gratitude, for this time, Cheryl, and I know you're going through a difficult time, but the fact that you woke up and you showed up in your pearls and earrings, that's just so shows that you rock, and I'm learning so much from you. And yes, I'll be your mentee forever and ever, but sorry for that laugh. Oh my word. Okay, so any closing comments, Cheryl?
No, just to say thank you for the opportunity, Anastasia, Mala, and the team there at Masharani Inc. And thank you, wonderful people, and to the brave men who joined us. But just to say,
yes,
our country has been in a really tough space. As we can see, we're starting to map a path out of that. But the reason why we got there in the first place was because we just never felt confident. It happened on our watch. But I do think it will also get out of there. But hey, the whole world is just one big bad neighborhood. I mean, like, how did Donald Trump become the most powerful leader in the world? Again, because it's enough for good people to do nothing. And just look at the room like this. And that's why people often say, how does this country still hang together? When you listen to this commission, you just can't believe that this country is still keeping going, that we're able to get vaccinations out, which I hope you're all going to do. But just to say, thank you for being part of my life directly or indirectly through Anastasia, your association with Anastasia. And just keep building this country and this world. And just because there's so many opportunities, there has never been more opportunities for women than what there is now, notwithstanding the challenges. Take it and run. And I'm here, and I'd like to know that you're here for me and for Anastasia too. So thank you, enjoy your life, and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, Anastasia.
Thanks, Cheryl. Dr. Molokwane, is there a hand? You want to say something in closing? She's
Can
my
I quickly
patron of the mentorship.
I would not be doing justice if I don't say this. Cheryl, thank you very much for making time to be with us. And my condolences. I wish you speedy recovery with your loss. And it's so touching to see that you still have the energy to dedicate time soon after what you have gone through. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our patron of the mentorship, our main cheerleader, Dr. Molokwane. I can also twist her around, twist her arm. She just appears everywhere. And I really am grateful because, as I said, with the nuclear physicist in the house, it shows that we can really reach the stars. And being so humble yourself, Dr. Molokwane, I don't know what to say. I just feel blessed. And for everybody who joined the webinar this morning, as Cheryl said, the fact that you actually stayed on for this long, it shows that, you've made it and you want to do better. You want to be better. And may God bless you. May He shine His face upon you. Namaste. I'm dropping the mic.
Thank you.
Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services, via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute-taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute-taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute-taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services. Are you a current or aspiring director? Are you in the public sector and need to understand more about the Public Finance Management Act or Municipal Finance Management Act? Do you know your legislative compliance requirements? Do you want to craft perfectly written minutes? Mashobane Advisory Services via its training company, Mashobane Training and Mentorship Academy, offers training in the areas of director induction, minute-taking, governance, risk management, compliance, data protection and privacy over and above the Protection of Personal Information Act, as well as diversity and transformation. The training is provided by experts in the field and takes a practical approach which adds value to the participants. Contact us for tailor-made training services.